Would you be shocked to learn that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself?
No. I mean, how many Jeffrey Epstein type people are out there?
Well, that's right.
That's the real question.
You mean people who've been killed, or people who are using sex as a blackmail tool?
That.
Yep.
And then who's pulling the strings on that?
Any guesses?
Well, Ghislaine Maxwell has a lot of ties to the Mossad.
Yep.
That would make sense. I mean, Jeffrey didn't seem to get some of the appointments he was given in prominence based on merit. Somebody was putting him in the right spots. But I don't think he's the only one. I think there's a problem, a weird, bizarre problem, really, that has a weird sex component to it with some of the elites, and there's a pedophile component to it as well, which is really sick. And there's some prominent figures who are in the spotlight as of late. I would like that to be exposed. But Jeffrey Epstein had the goods on everybody. So there were a lot of people that didn't want him to be alive. And then the whole, wild story around, multiple people being asleep and, him not being watched at the time is real convenient. And I just don't believe in that many coincidences.
No. He was murdered in federal detention in Manhattan. I don't think there's any question about that. And people lied about it, including the then Attorney General of the United States.
I think there's some weird correlations between and anomalies that, the Johnny Depp trial had eyes on it, crazy coverage, and the Ghislaine Maxwell trial had next to no coverage, no TV coverage, no nightly commentary about it, no traffic to nobody. I mean, they literally she is indicted for trafficking kids, and nobody who she was trafficking kids to got indicted.
Or named.
Yeah. And all the files that are out there still haven't been released. We have one testimony from one victim. That's all we have. When that came out, it was just literally like one victim. And there's hundreds of just in that little who flew on the Lolita Express. And there's a lot of super prominent names who are on the flight logs.
What's the sex thing about? I mean, you've been in famous guy world for a long time, and you're from, like me, you're from California. So obviously you've been around well-known cultural figures, the elites. How long have you thought that sex plays a role?
Well, not that long. I mean, I've just kind of, I've seen some interesting things.
I bet you have.
Been around some interesting parties and gatherings that are strange. Not anything like what it sounds like, a Diddy party. But just even at, an Oscar party, just seeing how some of these people act was always a little bit strange. I just never resonated with it. It was almost like interesting people watching, but there always seemed like there was parties within the party, people kind of doing their own thing. That always kind of weirded me out a little bit, but getting into conspiracy stuff, then about secret society stuff and stuff like the Bohemian Grove.
Yes. And
what Nixon said about the Bohemian Grove. And
what did he say?
You have to go look at his quote. His quote is not exactly, there's some.
I think he said something like that. They're all gay, right?
Yeah,
something like
that's
that.
That's basically what he said.
Yeah.
And the secrecy around that, and that's not the only secret society. There's a lot of really interesting secret societies, not just like the Skull and Bones at Yale, which has produced all those presidents, and the Freemasonry at its highest level. And there is a sexual component, I think, to a lot of that. Obviously, with Epstein, it was blackmail to get them to do what they want. I mean, how many people are compromised by that are in positions of power today?
Yeah, I
think you're naive to think it's none. And you said it on the podcast with Joe, the scary part for those people is that, and for us, is they could, put some on your computer to cancel you. They could set you up for something.
Oh, of course.
Thankfully me, I don't watch porn. I've never been into any weird kinky stuff. So it'd be really, and
I think it'd be pretty unwise for a prominent person to get into online porn because all that stuff is monitored. Yeah. I mean, what?
Yeah, but I think a lot of those people probably are.
You'd have to be an idiot. There's a camera on your phone and your iPad and your laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, didn't, again, there's weird anomalies with everything, but it gets used all the time, right? Like stuff like that gets used all the time to silence people, to quiet people. Now, whether that's legitimate or not, if it's legitimate, that's fucking sick and gross, and those people should be. If it's illegitimate, it's not real, and it's been planted, like that's a fucking shit sandwich.
Well, kiddie porn, I always try and say it out loud just to indemnify myself, to protect myself against. I don't have a laptop. I'm not into porn or kiddie porn. I just want to say that out loud.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same thing.
You do feel like
never been into it.
Whenever someone,
I wouldn't kill myself. I love my life.
If you can spend 5 nights with darkness, I think you're psychologically pretty healthy.
Yeah.
Like you're beating the averages on that. I feel like I'm pretty psychologically healthy, and I could not do that. But if you found out everything, you said faith in government would collapse completely.
Yes.
And that's a good thing. But would that be like the road to anarchy at that point?
I think you might need some of that. Like what anarchy, I think, is always seen. You have to look up and give me the exact definition of anarchy, but the thought of anarchy is just like chaos.
Yes, chaos.
But it's more just I believe it's more like a belief in it's a doubt in the government's ability to do its job.
Yes.
At its core.
Well, I qualify then.
Yeah. I'm not going to call you an anarchist, but we need some of that. We need some more questioning. We need more disclosure. We need more things being brought out to light. We need more journalists doing their job and having the right conversations. I'm excited for you I can't even imagine who you're going to get on your podcast, because it's going to be amazing.
You're the first one, and I'm grateful. So just 2 more questions.
And then I have one at the end too.
So the first one is, I asked you what you're going to do when you retire, which is probably imminent, just at some point, just because of your age and your amazing longevity so far in the sport. But you said you just want to take a deep breath. Could you see yourself running for office?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't. I believe in Bobby and what he's standing for, but I've never been super into politics, and as said publicly, I believe it's a sham. Now, I retract that in the context of Bobby, because I believe in what he stands for, but I've never felt like there's been 2 parties. It's just been the same people, and bombs still get dropped regardless of whether it's Trump or Obama or Bush or Clinton. Wars still get fought. Taxes still get levied. Evil and corruption still exists.
That's right.
Secret handshake society still exists. The lobbyist power still exists. All the big whatever, the military industrial complex still exists, no matter who's in charge. So how much can you actually impact? I don't know. I mean, I like to think that if Bobby got in, if they didn't take him out, that he could enact some real change. I think the alphabet groups need a full makeover. And if we're going to, support espionage, then let's make sure we're not doing it our own people who are good, conscientious, freedom-loving Americans.
Yes.
We're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Black, White, Asian, Mexican, whatever it is.
That's right.
Just great fucking people who live in this country. Leave us alone. Leave us alone.
Yeah, stop spying on me.